This is WWE superstar Drew McIntyre, and you're listening to the WWE Podcast.
The champ is
the one that everybody wants, me.
It's going to WrestleMania. Claymore!
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. This is my iron. You're going to acknowledge me.
What is going on, everybody, and welcome to this week's main event review. I hope you've all had a lovely week so far, and as we get probably within just a little over a month until WrestleMania begins, things are starting to get really spicy as we head to WrestleMania. And of course, we're here to review the two matches that happened this week on this week's main event, and excited to bring you that to you guys. And before we start, as mentioned on my last two episodes, I'm going to do it again. I have a new podcast that I've just started. We're about 4 episodes in. It's called The Huddle Within. I'll be sure to leave the information in the description below. But it'd be great if you guys could take the time to listen into that. If you are an overall sporting fan, I put out content, yes, as mentioned, on a weekly basis. And I'm really excited to bring that out and want that to obviously grow and succeed along with this as well. So as mentioned, we're going to be reviewing the two matches that happened on main event, a main event that happened at Madison Square Garden before the events on Raw that happened also at Madison Square Garden too, and also events that occur from SmackDown. So again, want to repeat that if it's your first time listening to this show, main event is obviously filmed across 1 hour, putting in SmackDown and Raw shows, but they also have got 2 matches that occur before the Monday night show begins. It gives opportunity for new talent and also the current talent to kind of perform prior to the main show to get that kind of live experience, and also kind of fill the gaps of the storylines and what's happening, because Raw is obviously filmed for 2 hours and a half, and you can't put everyone on there, so this is a good opportunity for those stars to get on there and have the TV time. And I think for the 2 matches that happened this week, it's a pretty good example of that. For the first one being Penta coming up against Joaquin Wilde, and that was the second match. The first match being Kaiser and Akira Tozawa. So both Kaiser and Penta having matches that are not against each other, but having a planned match going into Raw next week in Brussels, which will be a no-holds-bar match, which I'm quite excited for. But before we get into that, we will start with the match between Kaiser and Akira Tozawa, which had Kaiser getting the victory here, which makes a lot of sense because obviously you don't want Kaiser to lose a week before his no-holds-bar match. But again, taking the victory here. I'm not sure what they're doing with Kaiser in terms of his affiliations with Gunther, because they clearly have similar music, and I'm just waiting for them to kind of split off. I feel like they have done it organically, but again, we haven't seen that really happen officially, and his music's pretty much the same as well, and he hasn't really been getting involved in the Jey Uso Gunther feud or lead up to WrestleMania. I would say feud, but there's not really much going on there, which again we'll talk about. But again, for Kaiser, getting a victory here makes a lot of sense because obviously that leads up to what's going to be happening next week against Penta. And in terms of the Alpha Academy, they're the main event staple. They're always on shows before, but I have to say I feel like Akira Tozawa's talent is being wasted at the moment. And it was great too. It didn't happen in this show, but it was great for Gunther to actually kind of bring that up in the match that they had a few weeks back, letting him know that he is a disgrace. So what I'm trying to get at is hopefully some seeds have been planted into Akira Tozawa's mind to potentially elevate himself, and that might mean him putting on a real heel turn. Because if I'm honest, he's so good in the ring. I know he's a bit undersized, but he's been in the Japanese scene for a long time. He's been in WWE for a few years now, and he's had some different personas and characters which were taken a lot more seriously back when the Cruiserweight champion was there and also the 24/7 champion. But I think there is still an opportunity for Tozawa to do something, and it might start with a potential mini heel turn against Otis, trying to kind of go into the darker, I guess, mind that he could potentially unlock in a heel turn as well. Like we've seen it with Shinsuke Nakamura, be it it's a bit more different. But there's opportunities for Akira Tozawa to really hit his dark side and actually put a stance on the company and give him an opportunity to get some segments on Raw, because at the moment it just seems as though he's there for a bit of entertainment. He's pretty much like Otis's like little weapon as he grabs him all the time and throws him around. But I think he's a lot more than that. And I think if they were to do something with him, I think a heel turn would be great, and it would kind of ruffle a few feathers there. And starting with feuding with the Alpha Academy would be something interesting. But just a train of thought, a feud of thought. I don't think it will happen, but I think it's something that could push Akira Tozawa going forward. But then again, Kaiser gets the victory here. Makes complete sense. Leads them up into the no holds bar match that's coming up next week in Brussels. So excited for that one. And yeah, I guess moving forward, we then actually go to SmackDown and we see the United States Championship match between LA Knight and Shinsuke Nakamura, with LA Knight getting the victory here. I think hitting the BFT off the chair from memory. But again, Shinsuke Nakamura's run was pretty dreadful. I was very excited, if I'm honest, for Nakamura to have this kind of dark character, as we mentioned before, into WWE, because he obviously took a few months off and he was just a jobber before that. But it seems as though they weren't able to capitalize on this, and pretty much he was holding the title, I think personally, just in time for when WrestleMania hits, for LA Knight to get it back and potentially have a good match there, because there wasn't really much Shinsuke did, and I don't think they were able to find a feud for him to kind of make WrestleMania feel as entertaining as it was. I would have thought it would have been nice for maybe AJ Styles to stay on SmackDown and them have their WrestleMania match again, because it's just two superstars that are extremely, extremely good in the ring, and they also have a bit of history there. It would have been nice to maybe see them two kind of fight for the title. But again, I think the right decision was to give LA Knight the chance to have a WrestleMania match and to defend the title there. So that's going to be extremely interesting. There are rumors and rumblings of Jimmy Uso potentially being involved in that, and not to jump the gun here, but the latest episode that we saw on SmackDown probably shows that Jimmy Uso might be involved in those sweepstakes. But again, we'll have to wait and see. But it just is a bit of a shame that Nakamura's run really didn't amount to nothing. It was just kind of him babysitting the title for LA Knight to take it. Again, I'm not upset about it, because I do love LA Knight and I think that he deserves to be there at WrestleMania, and I think he'll create a lot more value for WrestleMania and for him holding the title. Just going to be, I guess, we're just going to have to wait and see what happens now when we lead up to WrestleMania and who's going to be the direct opponent for him. It could be a multi superstar fight. It could be a fatal 4-way triple threat for all that I know. But again, we'll have to wait and see. With Nakamura going forward, maybe he'll get a rematch, but I just don't really see him getting involved in anything, because why would they now decide for him to be involved when he was having the title, he wasn't barely defending it or was barely involved in it anyway. So again, something to look out for, and we'll have to wait and see what happens. We then get the match between Jey Uso and Grayson Waller. Obviously, we've been seeing that Grayson Waller and Austin Theory are getting involved with Jey Uso, not believing in him and putting that print that he's not good enough to be world champion. This is obviously trying to lead them two for eventually splitting up, who I've been talking about it every week because they've obviously had some main event matches. They're still together, which I don't know how. But Jey Uso gets the victory here, which was pretty obvious, and then he gets ambushed by the two of them, and then Gunther comes in and puts him in a sleeper. So for that, we're going to have Jey Uso take on Austin Theory next week. So we're going to see them again going into battle. It would be nice to see the Grayson Waller effect show happen with Jey Uso. I think that'll be a good opportunity for that show to come back and for them to utilize that with Jey Uso being involved and them being sort of involved as well. But moving on from them, more focusing on to Gunther, who's attacked Jey Uso now, is just getting too repetitive and too obvious that every time Jey Uso finishes a match, Gunther is attacking him. And he did mention that he wanted to make his life hell for making that decision, but I think the direction they're going with is very underwhelming. I don't think it actually makes us feel that Gunther is so much better than Jey, because of the fact that he's been doing these attacks behind his back and doing it after he's done with matches. I think hopefully what we'll see, and we still have time before WrestleMania, it becomes a little bit more personal. Maybe Gunther decides to attack his father. Maybe he decides to attack Jimmy Uso. There's a bit more brutality when it comes to Gunther really diving into kind of his family and taking it a little bit more personal. And I think that's something that could happen as well. And Kaiser not getting involved, it means that he's, as mentioned, probably separated from Gunther. But I could see Kaiser coming in and trying to ambush and getting involved. Maybe like putting Jey Uso in handcuffs on the ring, or like pinning him down so if Gunther can beat him up or something. But again, I don't really know where this is going in terms of a main event match, like especially with what the card's looking like for WrestleMania. It doesn't feel like a main event match. And I personally, as much as I love Jey Uso, as much as I love the Yeet movement, I do want Gunther to retain. And the reason why I want Gunther to retain is because, one, last year he lost his title to Sami Zayn, holding it for so long, and we had the same story. We had someone that was a underdog come out and actually end up winning. Where I think this time Gunther should win and shut that down. And this might ruin potentially the heat that Jey Uso has at the moment. But I feel like if we wait one more year, and I mentioned this before, if we can wait one more year for Jey Uso to go through it, have that chance but not being able to finally do it, I think one more year of that and him going next year to main event and winning it will make the journey and reward so much better, because I just feel like he shouldn't lose it to Gunther. And because Gunther's already dropped there, is he going to really drop two big matches that he had for the title to two underdogs in a row? I'm not sure. I think I'm going to be wrong. That's how I would book it, because I think Gunther is an amazing champion. I think he's been doing such a good job. And it's always better to have the heel champion chase. But what I will say, if that is night one main event and Jey Uso wins, we will probably give us the spoiler to what happens at night two between Cody and John Cena. But that's going to be a whole another different conversation there and there. But again, it looks like Gunther just keeps attacking Jey from behind. Hopefully they change that up, and hopefully we see something that gets us more kind of emotionally attached to this, whether we want to root for Jey Uso and really hate Gunther for his actions, or whether Jey Uso comes and shows that he can give a fighting chance and potentially win the championship. Something we'll have to wait and see for sure. We then get the second match of the main event show. So back to main event, as mentioned at the start. Penta coming up against Joaquin Wilde. And again, Penta, when he comes out, is just mesmerizing. It's when watching main event, you see obviously the entrances come in to people getting no heat. But then every time Penta, well, it's the second time, but the second time Penta has come and entered the stage, you can just see the crowd being electric. And yeah, I think the reason why he was on there this week again is because of the magnitude of the show being at Madison Square Garden, just simply not getting enough time, and for him to kind of build momentum into the match that's going to happen with Kaiser next week. But yeah, Penta comes out to a massive pop for a main event standard show, massive pop, getting the victory against Joaquin Wilde with a Penta driver. This was a very fast-paced match. Joaquin Wilde, to me, is extremely good in the ring and very athletic, does some amazing moves, but you can just tell that he's got really no personality to really take the next step. And as I mentioned with Akira Tozawa, I think I would love to see a heel turn with Joaquin Wilde on LWO as well. I think heel turns, I don't know what it is, but gives them a chance to kind of change their characters and whatnot, because even when he was putting moves on Penta that were quite amazing, like the jumps off did a jump off the ropes into the floor. He also did this kind of side plank drop and like had his whole body controlled on the ring post, which was pretty cool. But again, no one really clapping or giving him any props or heat to that. So failing to really connect with the audience is something that's letting Joaquin Wilde down at the moment, because in the ring, he's been performing pretty good. He performed really well with Penta in a really back and forth match. But again, Penta getting the victory here, which makes a lot of sense. Remains technically undefeated. Obviously, Kaiser got the win, but he didn't pin Penta. So you could say that Penta's not been pinned in WWE yet, and that remains to be the case, of course, in this main event show, but hopefully looking forward. And I think Penta will get the victory against Kaiser, which will kind of make Kaiser look worse, and probably there'll be some questions as to whether he gets involved in WrestleMania or not. He might just have to go back to helping Gunther. I don't know what's happening with that, as mentioned. But Penta, after this, I think will go for the Intercontinental title once he wins the match. And if he doesn't, it'll be a big surprise. Maybe both will get involved in the title if that's the case. But I think the next goal for Penta and the next step is going for that Intercontinental Championship. We saw them both tease that in a show before, them facing each other. But again, I'm still riding on the fact that there could be a fatal 4-way involved. I did say that Finn Balor might be involved, so maybe the match at Brussels is a no contest. There might be a disqualification, there might be an interference. But I think there's so many superstars at the moment that are not having their WrestleMania match that could be involved in here. So like Penta has to have one. I think Finn Balor has to have one. Even though he's having this match here, he has to have one. You've got AJ Styles, and I mentioned these guys because I kind of predicted a potential fatal 4-way. You've got AJ Styles against Logan Paul, but is that really going to be the WrestleMania match for nothing? So those two are definitely going to be featured at WrestleMania. How they're all going to be intertwined into each other is going to be something that's curious, or that I'm curious for, because Penta, from here, if he wins, there's obviously a step for him to go WrestleMania, and the only step that it makes complete sense is him fighting Bron Breakker. But then how you get the others involved is the next question. And again, we've been hearing, and it could now maybe false news, that Finn Balor and AJ Styles are going to have a match with each other at WrestleMania, or be involved in a match, whether it's with other superstars. But that's looking sort of unlikely now. I'm not really sure, but again, we'll have to wait and see. If Penta gets the victory next week, which I'm sure he will, I definitely think he moves towards those Intercontinental Championship aspirations and that match with Bron Breakker. But again, we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully, there's some more information on that after the match between Kaiser. And Penta getting the victory here just builds momentum for both of them as well, because they both had the matches on Main Event for this match, which I'm excited for. I can't remember the last time I've seen a no-holds-bar match, but it's basically, from memory, a no disqualification. I don't really know the difference there. Maybe just the name sounds a bit more better, but again, they're going to be battling it out, so we'll have to wait and see for that. We then go back to Raw, and we hear Cody's promo pretty much from without reading exactly what he's gone into, basically telling the crowd that John Cena was not going to be at Madison Square Garden, and it was an easy decision for him. So obviously trying to put more heat on John Cena. Again, it's great to see the crowd booing him, and I hope the crowd continues to boo him. It is interesting that he's going to address the crowd in Brussels, Belgium, to an audience that I hope does boo him and will most likely understand what he's saying, but it feels a bit different. I feel like it should have been done in America, because obviously that's where WWE is from, that's where it originates. His first promo back in Belgium, the crowd is electric most of the time in Europe, because obviously they don't get the matches every week, but hopefully they're able to give him the same heat as I would expect an American crowd to give when John Cena comes out. And that's going to be very interesting. But again, Cody Rhodes basically mentions that, and then he also basically said that he is the captain now, not following, obviously, as mentioned, the script, but calling out John Cena, showing his rage, showing his frustration, which is good to see. You can see Cody's generally upset and pissed off, and people are kind of now starting to root for him, because yes, as I mentioned, and I keep saying I mentioned, but I like to bring content back, Cody's run, quite frankly, wasn't the most exciting the whole year. The only time it was probably really exciting was when he fought Kevin Owens, just as of late. And a lot of people kind of saw Kevin Owens' side, so they didn't have the need to feel sorry for Cody. But ever since Cody's been attacked, and having that black eye kind of makes it look a bit more better, as mentioned too, but again, I don't know why Travis Scott was there. And I haven't mentioned this, but Travis Scott being there was just simply a waste of space. Like, he should not have been there. I'm a fan of Travis Scott. I love his music. I went to his concert. But he should not have been in there. That's such a big moment for someone that is just a rapper and does know nothing about fighting in ring. So hopefully he gets bashed, honestly. I hope Cody Rhodes puts him through a table or something, or even puts a 5 crossroads through him. I don't even know, but he needs to cop it, because you can't be giving black eyes to WWE superstars. So again, without getting off topic here, Cody Rhodes calls out John Cena, and it's finally good to see that Cody Rhodes is someone that we feel sorry for, because he's been brutally attacked, and now it makes him a bit more kind of relatable. And at the same time, it's a full face versus heel, like a proper heel against a proper face, headlining WrestleMania. And again, look out for night 1 of the main event. If Jey Uso does win and we see Yit chants going off around the place, that will take into effect what happens at night 2. So something to look out for. But again, that's going to be very exciting. They're both going to be in the building at the same time. I'm so excited to see what's going to happen with John Cena. I really hope there's some new heel music. His whole persona changes. I'm just excited for it. I've been waiting for a John Cena heel turn for so long. So extremely excited for him to come back, and how this feud will kind of play out before we get to the main event. So let's look out for it. Really excited. Good promo, solid promo. Cody Rhodes has been really solid on the mic as of late. And it's good that he's led this up to the moment that we see John Cena come out and explain why he did it. We want to know why, John. Why did you sell yourself out to The Rock? I think we all know why, but at the same time, we need to know. And again, all these events that play out will eventually lead us to whether John Cena gets 17 or Cody Rhodes, as mentioned in his promo, says that he will remove the dreams of his lifelong fans. So a lot to play for here, and a lot of stakes to come. We then finish off with the main event of the show, which was of Raw, which was Seth Rollins taking on CM Punk in a steel cage match, which was once again a pretty good match. A lot of finishers getting kicked out here, which was, as Matt mentioned in his review, probably too much, which I'd have to agree, because CM Punk getting out of a GTS and then a curb stomp at the same time and kicking out, it's just been something he's been doing as of late, just kicking out of finishes. Even at the Elimination Chamber, he kicked out of 6 finishes. It does become too much, and it comes to a point where how many finishes are there going to need to be to really put someone like CM Punk away? So again, we see that. We see a lot of finishes. We saw that, and I really like that Punk didn't just climb over the fence and take a cheap victory or even walk out. We saw him obviously get superplexed from the top, and we did see Seth Rollins also contemplating whether to walk out or not. And as he hits a super stomp on the top, after obviously a few back and forths and a few kickouts and finishes on both ends, Seth Rollins hits a super stomp to the floor. And as we see Seth Rollins probably either escaping the cage or pinning CM Punk, we get Roman Reigns putting him in a headlock, pulling him out of the cage. That meant that Seth Rollins got the victory here. We then see Roman Reigns spear Seth Rollins, and we also see him stomp him on the floor, which was no surprise there. It's good to see Roman Reigns back. It made sense that he came back. But what doesn't make sense in terms of storyline, but I guess to make it more spicy, is Roman Reigns attacking CM Punk after Paul Heyman was consulting with him. So clearly some jealousy there going on, and something that I proudly like to think that I mentioned that's what will make the feud between the two interesting. It will be about Paul Heyman. We already have the long history of the other two with Seth Rollins, so to really tie CM Punk and Roman Reigns together would be Paul Heyman, I think, as the wild card, and especially with the favor that CM Punk has yet to tell everyone, is going to make this interesting. to say the least. But I think this is going to be the match for WrestleMania, as mentioned, the triple threat. But the favor that Paul Heyman puts in is going to make things interesting. I still don't think CM Punk is going to get involved with John Cena and Cody Rhodes. So the only way that he's going to get a WrestleMania match is having this triple threat. And a lot of people want Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns one-on-one. But again, I think with their long history, they can do that along the line down the track as well. I think there's plenty of opportunities for that. To get CM Punk involved in WrestleMania, with Paul Heyman involved with Roman Reigns, with CM Punk's long history with Seth Rollins, it does make sense that the three of them fight. But the favor could be, CM Punk going into the main event. I could be completely wrong. It could be that Paul Heyman decides that, or makes a favor that this match becomes a main event, and that kind of like costs the chance of Jey Uso and Gunther to be the main event match. Like Paul Heyman uses his executive powers to call in that favor and say, this should be the main event. Or it could be, and I also listened to this as well, that the winner becomes the number one contender for the WWE Championship post WrestleMania. So that can also be interesting too, because if CM Punk does win the match, he then easily transitions into the feud with John Cena if John Cena wins, or even with Cody Rhodes if that happens as well, or even the other two, like Roman Reigns, for example. There's been teasings of him and Cody fighting again for the championship. If Roman Reigns wins, he gets to fight Cody Rhodes at Backlash or something. But these are just some ideas that I think the favor would make more sense if you're not taking out into consideration him versing or getting into the match with John Cena and Cody Rhodes and main eventing WrestleMania. I think the favor will make sense with that. And clearly, as mentioned before this, he didn't tell Roman Reigns about what the favor was. So maybe it might not be that. It'll be something that affects Roman Reigns too. But again, I think we're all just dying to know what the favor is. And I think that's going to play a big part in this storyline between specifically CM Punk and Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman, but also being able to tie in Seth Rollins because of the personal feuds the two of them have with him and the personal feuds that Seth Rollins have with them as well. But like that match is main event worthy. So it's going to be really exciting to see them three fight as well. And I forgot to mention as well that CM Punk did eliminate both of them at the Royal Rumble. So there is a lot of reasons why Roman Reigns could have attacked him. It still wasn't probably a good enough reason to do it. It looked like on there was out of jealousy. But if you factor in the fact that CM Punk eliminated him, if you factor in the fact that Paul Heyman's hiding that secret or favor away from Roman Reigns, and he added CM Punk without like letting him know, this could give him enough reasons to attack him. But again, when they speak about it, it's going to be very fun to see how CM Punk reacts and what happens moving forward. But yeah, that kind of concludes the main event show. Again, thank you guys for tuning in every week, listening to this. And also, again, want to mention my new podcast, The Huddle Within. Please be sure to check that out. I'll be back with you guys as usual next week to review the events that happen on Raw, SmackDown, and Main Event, which are the two matches that we always get. But again, really appreciate you guys tuning in and hope you have a wonderful week as well.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.